invited to call in and ask Lisa any question about how you can jumpstart your very own transformation and become a better you. Call toll-free 1-800-889-0267. Visit her website at Dowskin.com or visit her on Facebook at BBL Fitness. Do you want to be healthier, happier, and live a longer and more fulfilled life? Then get ready to transform your mind, body, and spirit and to emerge a new you. Now here's Lisa.
Hi, welcome to Transform Your Mind, Body, Spirit. I'm so happy to be here today again. I would like to thank some of my sponsors, first and foremost, to the OG Gems. They make great bracelets I'm going to talk about a little bit later. Soul from Rain International Products, Health Products. Lycopene Skin Research, sorry, I'm reading my notes off of here. And Children's Medical Safety Research, which we'll be introducing next week. They'll be talking about vaccines and how dangerous they are for children. And the last one is excuse me, Grand Palms Country Club, Golf Course, and Resort, which is where I used to have my gym called Metamorphosize. Freddie just saw a couple days ago.
Beautiful place.
Yeah, you want to talk about it a little bit?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We were there to see the grounds and also talk a little bit about doing seminars you're going to be working on.
Yeah, and when I was the owner of Metamorphosize, I was there 13 years. And what I loved about it is we transform people's lives through mind, body, spirit. And they had a place where they can come and not just exercise, but they can also get massages, get facials, relax, do meditations. So Freddie and I are going to start doing a couple of seminars there,
Yes.
like once a month maybe.
And you know, I spoke to some doctors and stuff. Is it going to be a health and wealth type of seminar?
Yeah, to transform your life, to rejuvenate, detoxing, maybe juicing, meditation. We're going to have different doctors there maybe doing hypnotherapy and visual meditation, visualization.
Right.
And then Dr. Penoso will be there, right?
Yeah, Penoso said he'll be there. He says,
Yeah.
I said to him, can I bring any other doctors? He said, nose and throat, eye doctor. He says, don't bring any orthopedics or any surgeons. I said, okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
So
but
we're going to
we-
have a big meeting about that. But that's going to come maybe next month.
I think so, yeah. Next month, the month after.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it'll
Lot of
be
fun.
nice.
Nice place, by the way.
Yeah, it's beautiful, right?
The owner is a marvelous guy. Really, really nice.
Mr. Siegel, yeah. I'm hoping to get him on the show because he's been married, what do you say, 50 years, 53 years?
62 years.
No, that's your parents. I
No,
thought.
my parents are 66 years.
No, gosh. And
He's
Mr.
been married
Siegel?
62 years, and the guy looks like he's still on his honeymoon.
Oh, he's so sweet. And the way he talks about her is so beautiful.
I can't hardly wait to meet her.
Oh,
And
she's-
you know her, right?
Yeah. I knew her, and the funny thing is, when I first met her, she was so quiet and reserved, but I thought she was like a little bit stuck up because she was beautiful and she would walk around in her little tennis skirts and play golf and play tennis. And the truth is, she wasn't stuck up at all. She was very shy and reserved, which is a lot of people that are so shy. You think they're stuck up and they're not nice and they're so sweet.
Right.
So yeah, you'll like her.
And it's funny because he talked about, you've been doing this transformation stuff for a while, from what he indicated,
Yeah,
right?
a long time.
And he told you to do certain things, and he says you never listened.
Yeah.
And we're going back to the well because we are going to listen this time.
Right.
But he also had your book I saw on his shelf that he read.
Yes.
And it helped him put things into perspective.
Yeah.
And I think that's the highlight of your book. You know, it takes your life and sort of puts things in perspective.
Right.
You know, where you're going, where you've been. And I've heard your story, which is unbelievable. I saw the gym you used to own,
Yeah.
which is an enormous place.
Huge, right?
Huge.
Too much.
But today's theme, you're going to be talking about couples and longevity of relationships and things of that nature.
Spiritual love.
And the interesting aspect is that you do a lot of Facebook and social media things, and some of the people you're going to have on here today are amazing.
Oh, I'm so excited.
And they've read your book as well?
Yep.
Yeah?
Most of them. The couple that we'll have coming on in a minute are both authors. They're both life coaches. So they do pretty much what I do, and they're doing what you and I want to do with the seminars. They go
Right.
traveling everywhere.
Well, that's what I want to do. I
Yeah.
want to take this show on the road. and do it on the
Right.
road and sort of bring it back. And today's show can be seen on your website, which is
LisaDwoskin.com.
That's right, at the bottom of the page.
DWOSKIN.com.
And it's the last thing on the bottom of the page. Click on it. It's not an advertisement. They just click on there. You can see Lisa live.
Yeah.
And you can call in and participate in today's show. What's the phone number?
1-800, you're cute. Excuse me, 889-0267. I think I've been talking and teaching and training a little bit too much.
Well, you have a full week.
Yeah.
I know what you do during the week. We have to text to communicate because
It's
you're
so
always so
true.
busy.
It's crazy. I was driving up here, and it takes me like an hour to drive here, and I was so relaxed listening to music, meditating, and just really calm. And I was just thanking God for having this moment of peace and not being always rushing around and doing
Well, don't fall
everything
asleep
that
when
I
you
do.
drive and you meditate into a coma here and it'll be all over.
I meditate in a good, healthy way.
And Lisa, how do you get your books? I mean, let's pay the bills here. Your book is on Amazon, yeah?
It's on Amazon and also Barnes & Noble's, the online store, or you can go to my website, lisadwoskin.com, and order it there.
And you have a second book coming out?
The second book is what the show today is all about.
Well, look at that segue.
Yay! Freddie's got to keep me in line here. I go off on a tangent. Anyway, the second book is about spiritual love, soulmates, twin flames.
Twin flames. Now, that's a saying you threw at me this week. I didn't even know what you were talking about.
Wait till you hear what it's about.
I'm looking forward to that.
That's going to be the second half. So the book, when I decided to write the book, I wanted to write a book about self-love because I truthfully feel that you cannot love another until you love yourself.
Good point.
And it is so amazing to me, shocking actually, how many people do not love themselves. Now, just the other day I was teaching a class, I might have told this story, it might have been last week, on meditation and stretching in one of the gyms that I work at. And there was probably 30 people in the class. So I asked everybody in the class, can you raise your hand if you're kind and loving to yourself? Would you believe, Freddie, out of 30 people, how many you think raise their hand?
2.
4.
Oh, almost got it.
4. Okay, so then the next question was, everyone in the room, how many of you are kind and loving to others? How many people raise their hand?
30.
All of them, right? So I asked, why are you kind and loving to others, but you can't be kind and loving to yourselves? And it really is scary that there are 90% of the human population do not love themselves, and they don't even know how to start loving themselves. So that's what my book started out as, on self-love. Then it turned into a bit of a memoir of my own personal love life. And there's some steamy scenes in there my dad might not like, but too bad.
Is he listening to me?
Dad, you hear that?
Is he listening to you?
Yeah,
too?
he listens all the time.
Dad, I had
He's
nothing to
cute.
do with that.
Dad, there's some good, hot, sexy, steamy.
I had nothing to do with that.
No, but anyway, yeah, that's part of intimacy, love making. So anyway, let's get right into our guests who are on hold right now. And that is Carrie Campbell and Brian Grasso, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right. These two are just the most amazing couple ever. I found them on Facebook, and when you see a picture of them, if you're watching
Yes.
our show, they have tattoos. They're so cool. They're both fit, amazing, just beautiful people. And when I started reading about them on Facebook and their different posts that they would post, they're so inspirational, motivational. They actually know Peter Twist, who was on our show last week. And they're in that group of just wanting to heal the world, one person at a time. And I just can't wait for them to talk about their love story, because it is just amazing. The love that they share between the two of them and their kids. They have 2 kids.
And they're where, from Canada?
From, Canada,
You got a big following in Canada.
I know, I do, right?
You do.
Yeah, I love it. Canadians rule, and I'm sure they're going to say that too. So let's bring them on. Are you guys on the phone?
We are. Hello.
Oh, I've never spoke to you two in on the phone or in person. Nice to meet you both.
Same here. It's awesome.
You as well, Lisa.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you two talk about everything you do and about your love story. It's just so amazing. So let's jump right into it. First of all, do you want to talk about a little bit what you do before you talk about the love you share?
Yeah, I mean, sure, absolutely. I suppose this is Brian, by the way. I don't know if you can tell.
The manly voice.
Not Carrie.
Oh, Brian, I thought you were Carrie.
Yeah, right. No, it's true. I have a very feminine voice. Yes, I mean, I think it's easiest to say and explain that, Carrie and I have combined our respective specialties. Carrie's a licensed counselor and spent nearly 2 decades, in clinical settings working with people from children with special needs to athletes. And myself, I've been a performance coach to Olympic athletes and national team of professional athletes. And I think in those 2 very different specialties, Carrie and I recognized how deeply the concept of mindset was a limiting factor in human potential and achievement. Mm-hmm. And also, not just achievement and potential, but I suppose healing and things like self-love, as we were listening to you speak before you introduced us. Uh-huh. So we kind of organized our respective specialties into a movement that we call Awaken Your Freedom, which really is an inside-out journey. I think we've noticed, and of course we've been part of this ourselves. We don't just look outwards and criticize. We recognize our own journeys. The world tends to look outside of themselves for the answers, for the healing, the love, for all the things that we want. But more than just a slogan, we help people access all this power inside of themselves through strategies and practical insights that have proven very, very effective. Was that
That was a fantastic summary. I will not add any more to that. That was great.
That was perfect. No, I like it. I love what you two are all about. And you have such a huge following, and people really do want to hear what you both have to say.
That's mostly Carrie.
Yeah.
I just ride coattails.
I will add quickly that because obviously, the pretense of this show being about spirituality and love and twin flames and so on and so forth, which I know is coming up in your next guest as well. I think the people often ask us what the core of us is insofar as how we serve and how we deliver to others. And it's ironic we're talking about love because that's exactly where Brian and I deliver from. When we're working with people and when we're coaching people from around the world, is we always come back to the basis of love, and that's how we serve in order to make sure we're helping people find what it is that they're looking for.
So true. It's all about love. So tell us about your love story. I want to hear about from the beginning. I love the way Brian expresses it in most of the emails.
I was going to say that I would love to tell it, but I really just like hearing Brian tell it, so I'm going to let him go with it.
This is so beautiful. Okay, everybody, listen in. Go ahead, Brian.
This is Beth with soft piano playing. Don't imagine that for a second. No, I mean, I think the best part of our story, Lisa, is just the truth. It's not a made-for-TV movie. This is authentically exactly how it happened. And so for me to tell it, it's not so much I'm a wonderful storyteller as much as I'm really good at just telling the truth. So as it all started from the beginning, I owned a company in the youth fitness industry. This is way back, and I started in 2002. And in 2006, an organization here in Montreal, Canada. I was living in Chicago at the time.
Right.
But an organization in Montreal, Canada approached me and asked if I would come up to Montreal to deliver a 2-day certification seminar. So of course I agreed and took the flight. And I remember some of the nuances very, very specifically. The owner of the company in Montreal picked myself and my girlfriend at the time. We came together, and she picked us up from the airport and toured us around Montreal briefly. Beautiful city. And then we went to a restaurant. And it was July, so it was very nice outside. And we stood in the parking lot for a few moments, and then I asked casually but not impatiently, is it okay if we carry this conversation on inside? We why Mom was staying in the parking lot. And she apologized and forgot to mention that her primary coach who worked with her, this girl named Carrie, was joining us for dinner, and that Carrie would be, there any second, so we're just going to wait for her to arrive. So that was kind of a nonchalant comment, and I thought, okay, no worries, all good. So we carried the conversation on, and this is honestly, Lisa, exactly how it happened. About 5 minutes, Carrie's already laughing. About 5 minutes later, I remember looking across the parking lot at this woman who was walking towards the area that we were standing in, and I remember thinking to myself, wow, she's really hot.
She is hot. You are pretty hot, Carrie.
Right?
Very hot. My producer over here is showing pictures as you're talking.
It's true. Carrie's totally eye candy. But aside from the eye candy, she's also very smart, which it also goes into the story. But not so. A couple seconds after thinking she was hot, I really thought nothing of it. I thought she was just a woman who was walking to the same restaurant we were going to. Turns out she walked right up to us, and that was Carrie. And I obviously never mean disrespect to my former girlfriend or anything else, but I was kind of enthralled immediately. And don't remember much of the weekend after that. My eyes and thoughts were on Carrie a lot of the time. But suffice it to say, that was my introduction to Carrie. It was a nice weekend. We all said goodbye on Sunday afternoon, and I went back home to Chicago. That was 2006, and the next time we connected, this is an honest-to-goodness truth, it's fast-forwarding 3 full years. I hadn't talked to Carrie, hadn't messaged her, we hadn't had any communication whatsoever since that weekend in 2006. And I was sitting in Chicago in my apartment with my roommate at the time, and we were just talking about life and love and spirituality, which, nuances well with this program. And I was a single man at that point, and my roommate said to me, based on the conversation, if there was one person you've ever come across who you've met, you had feelings for, who would it be? So it didn't take me very long to say, Carrie Campbell, and I told my roommate the story of meeting her, and my roommate said, message her now. That's what life's all about. Just put yourself out there and see what happens. So I said, okay. And I basically, for the first time in 3 years, after having no conversation or communication with her, sent her a message on Facebook where I basically told her that, if we had been geographically proximal based on the 2 days I met her in 2006, there's no question I would have fallen in love. Wow. And that's basically how it all started.
And that's where I take over the rest of the story, because he always fast forwards this part. So, I was sitting in my home in 2009, November 2009, when that message came in. And, for anybody who's ever experienced that level of twin flame soul connection, they're going to resonate with this, this statement. But I was sitting there at my computer when his message came in, and I hadn't even opened it yet, and had an incredibly strong feeling that there was something much more profound than just a random, hey, how are you doing? And exactly what he said to me, which is, he would have fallen in love with me. And I had recently, I had been 2.5 years out of a marriage, and spent, the entire time finding myself and learning how to love myself again, which, is obviously critical in finding love. So I hadn't been looking for anything, but when I saw his message, there was just this, as much as maybe cynicism wanted to sink in, all that I had was complete faith and trust. And so the rest of the story quite simply goes, he messaged me, and 2 days later we were on the phone at 9 o'clock at night. We spoke till 5 a.m. the next day. Oh. We did 3 days in a row. And I always summarize it basically by saying, on the first night, we were kind of like, you know what? We think this is it. We think this is it. The second night, we knew it was it, and on the third night, we were figuring out how to make it happen.
Wow, it's amazing. And what's so beautiful is it's all about timing, and the time wasn't right. And then 3 years later, he reaches out to you. It's just so beautiful.
How long have they been together?
How long have you guys?
6 years. 6 years.
And they just got married, what, a couple months ago, right?
Yeah, that was a big surprise by me.
Yeah.
I mean, we respect all, and we certainly don't have any opinions that we think need the rest of the world to have and share with us. We're not huge believers in marriage necessarily. It's an institution for some people, for others it's not. Carrie and I had both been married before. We really didn't feel that citing our love in front of an elected official was necessary to prove that we were going to be together forever. So for us, it wasn't about getting married for any particular reason or legalities. The reality is that I surprised Carrie. We had our company's annual summit in Greenwich, Connecticut in July. She didn't know anything about it. Nobody did. My best friend, our business partner, got ordained. And Carrie had no idea. My best friend and myself called her up at the end of the first day of our conference, and he performed a ceremony right there. To everybody's shock and surprise, including Carrie's 2 kids, the entire 100 people who had traveled from around the world. Carrie didn't know anything about it. And for me, it was just a way of showing, my woman how much it was a matter of telling her that I loved her beyond the circumstance and ritual of marriage, beyond the bridal showers and matching dresses that everybody has to get and the chicken or fish conversation. This was just a man standing in front of his woman saying that he loved her. That's all they went through.
So beautiful. The pictures were beautiful. So I have a couple questions. Okay, so Brian, during the 3 years that you didn't speak with her, did you think of her often? Or was it kind of just like in the back of your mind, but you didn't think about it too much?
I'd say it was more in the back of my mind. I didn't really think about it too much consciously necessarily. But again, at the very second my roommate asked the question, it was a 0-second response to whose name it was.
And now during those 3 years, were you going through a lot of trials and tribulations and working on yourself? Because the second part of our show, when we're going to talk about twin flames and timing, it's about us going through so many different stages of our life. And once we become more spiritual and in tune with our inner selves, that's usually when you find your soulmate or your twin flame, and when you two could come together.
Yeah, Lisa, I'm going to truncate myself so as to not abuse all the time, but we could not agree with you more on that particular point. Carrie and I have a book that we're co-running together coming out towards the end of this year, and we talk about exactly that. Spirituality for us is not esoteric, it's not religious, it doesn't involve things that we don't necessarily have trouble understanding. For us, spirituality is simply a deep investigation and discovery of self, which so many people walk their lives never truly discovering who they are, what they are, their capabilities, their limitations, where they have blocks and barriers that they're not even aware of consciously. Mm-hmm. So to answer your question in as short a form as possible, yes, those 3 years were very trying for me, but they led me right to Carrie, because through those 3 years I found myself, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I love with Carrie that you had 2 children that from your previous marriage, and then how Brian comes in and not only loves you but loves your kids, and the kids love him. It's such a beautiful situation that the 4 of you have, and I truly believe, and I don't even know you two that well, but it's not luck. It's about working on yourselves. Your kids are probably brought up with the same mentality of the 2 of you, and then it just works. How can we teach people how to do that the way you guys have done it, the way I'm trying to teach? Carrie, what little information or lessons can you teach people how they can do it themselves?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we could talk for probably hours about that, to be honest with you. But I think that if we were to distill it down to one of the most powerful points for us in our own life and when we're coaching other people, is we live by the notion of methods, not magic. We experience a magical fairy tale romance. We do. We live it, and that's like our family, our relationship, our life. It is magical. But I think that there's so many people in this world who expect magic to happen, and it just is. You fall into love, or you start to self-love yourself, and it all just happens from a product of some sort of mystical power. But for us, really and truly, the work that we did on ourselves in a very methodical way, the process of the application of day-to-day practice of learning how to love ourselves and learning how to prioritize that inside of our family as we became a couple and built our relationship. That practicality is really the path to creating the magic, so to speak.
Right. And that's what I'm teaching about in my second book and in my classes that I teach as far as fitness. Even though I'm teaching a fitness class, I think I'm one of the few boot camp spinning instructors who actually shut off the music and speak and coach during the class, which the people love and they really need. But I'm trying to teach people how to love themselves. So what I like to do is tell people to wake up in the morning and look at themselves in the mirror and just say, I love you to yourself, and to do good things for yourself and take time for yourself. Of course, meditate and give yourself self-love. But give me a couple of suggestions we can give our listeners how to teach self-love to people.
Great question. At the top of this show, you said we talked about our work and mindset. And for Carrie and myself, it's not just been an investigation professionally, it's been a very strong personal discovery as well. So it's not sexy, and it doesn't fit the theme of necessarily just enveloping yourself in this spiritual self-love kind of components, although of course we heavily agree with that. But understanding the human brain, understanding the mind and how they're interdependent is part of what we teach, and why we teach it is that it's important to understand that the human brain is actually wired to be quite negative. We tend to retain negative thoughts. We tend to retain negative emotions. And after 30 some odd years of living, we don't always know why we're sad, why we're depressed, why we have self-loathing. We don't understand that there's an unconscious. The unconscious is the driver of all of our actions and habits. We have constant dialogue going on in our head that sometimes we're aware of, but most of the time we don't even realize is there. So the very first step for Carrie and myself that we teach people is that we basically say it this way: from a neurological standpoint, from an unconscious standpoint, the human brain, the human mind is simply a story. It's a language that's repeating itself over and over again due to influences and environmental experiences. So we can change the story, but not really until we understand what the story is. There's something called cognitive and emotional dissonance. If we start to try to affirm something, that, like through a positive affirmation, for example, that our unconscious completely disagrees with, we don't actually succeed in transitioning our language. We actually just create an emotional or mental chasm where this disagreeability conflict just starts. So, long story short, we use a technique called a dictate journal, where we ask our clients twice a day, every day, morning and evening, for about 7 days, just to sit in quiet space for 10 minutes and literally dictate their thoughts. What are they thinking and feeling in the moment? And if you don't censor that, if you don't try to reshape it, if you don't try to turn it motivational or inspirational, if you don't try to put a positive affirmation over it, if you simply just listen and record what your thoughts and emotions are, you start to create a trend where you see what kind of language you say to yourself on a regular basis. Reprogramming mental language is very easy, but not until we know what we're saying to ourselves every single day.
Okay.
This is the most important thing, but people have...
Hold that thought.
Brian, we got to take a commercial break. Hold that thought. We'll be right back, and we'll be back on with you guys in 2 minutes, okay?
Perfect.
A traditional family business in the gems business is hard to find in today's fast corporate world. Handmade and creative stones from every part of the world have made OG Gems a specialty in our community. They use jewelry to express their fashion and personality traits, and now they share their long family tradition with you. Visit their website, oggems.com, and see the jewelry they have to offer. Making people feel happy, confident, and beautiful is their goal, and each piece is handmade to enhance your personality. They use high-quality gemstones and components to create each exclusive piece. Visit oggems.com and find out why they are the best at what they do. They can arrange jewelry parties right in your own home, too, so contact them for more details. OG Gems, the true path to perfect, creative jewelry with a special custom match to your personality. If you're a golfer or just someone who wants the best hotel stay in South Florida, your wish has been answered. Introducing the Grand Palms Hotel Spa and Golf Resort. The Grand Palms Hotel Spa and Golf Resort, located in beautiful South Florida, gives everyone the opportunity to enjoy peace, beauty, and tranquility. 137 comfortable rooms and suites located on a 27-hole golf course with all the amenities that you'd expect of a first-class golf facility. A professional golf pro shop, excellent restaurant equipped with a full-service bar, and a staff that is ready to cater to your every whim.
The Grand Palms Hotel Spa and Golf Resort is paradise waiting for you. The Grand Palms is truly a golfer's paradise. The golf course surrounded by luxurious homes and the most exquisite landscaping in the area. You might even catch a glimpse of some celebrity golfers swinging their golf clubs. Whether you're an avid golfer or just coming to the area for business or relaxation, you won't find a more comprehensive resort experience for the value. Located minutes from South Florida's famed beaches and some of the best shopping in the country, there's something for everyone at the Grand Palms Spa and Golf Resort.
If you're looking to book a wedding, party, or speaking engagements, this is the place for you. Grand Palms Catering is the best in town, with gorgeous and spacious garden rooms and clubhouses overlooking the golf course. Grand Palms is the best kept secret in Pembroke Pines. Call today, 954-431-8800, and book your reservation to one of the most beautiful golf resorts in Florida. 954-431-8800 is the number you need to enjoy a touch of paradise for your getaway.
Hi, my name is Lisa Dowskin, and you can purchase my book, Metamorphosize, on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, or on my very own website, lisadowskin.com. Metamorphosize is about the transformation within, the journey from the caterpillar to a beautiful butterfly. This book is a memoir of my personal journey of becoming spiritually enlightened and emerging into my new true self. In it, I discuss many challenges and losses that I have faced and worked through along the way. Challenges
Freddie?
have helped me to grow
You can hear me, right?
a better person. Life is
It's not going over the air.
tribulations.
It's not.
How we handle these challenges molds us into the people
Sorry.
that we become. In my book, I also will teach my readers how to help themselves and learn to become healthier and happier. My good friend Rocky Johnson and his son Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson both endorse the back cover of my book. Dwayne states, "All of my life I have been an athlete and believed in the balance of mind, body, and spirit. Without having all three in proper alignment, I would not have achieved what I have in my life. I often speak to everybody about maintaining a positive mindset, eating healthy, exercising, and balancing your life. I feel that Lisa's journey will help awaken the lives of many and inspire others to begin their own transformation. Her book is sensational and very uplifting. Thank you, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So look for my book, Metamorphosize, on Amazon.com, BarnesandNobles.com, or LisaDwoskin.com. Again, that's spelled Lisa, DWOSKIN.com. Are you ready to transform your life? Are you wanting to lose weight, become healthier, and feel happier? I am here to help you do just that. My name is Lisa Dowskin. I'm a personal trainer and a life coach. I educate on transforming the mind, body, spirit from within. I want to teach you how to eat healthy, exercise daily, and feed your mind with positive thoughts. You can hire me one-on-one for coaching, personal training, or how to learn about nutritious foods and how they affect your body in a more positive way. Sign up for my free weekly newsletter at lisadwoskin.com, or you can find me on Facebook at Body by Lisa or BBL Fitness is my Facebook page. I post daily tips on nutrition, fitness, and feeding your mind with positive thoughts. Don't wait for tomorrow to become healthier and happier. Do it today. My website again is lisadwoskin.com. That's DWOSKIN.com.
You are transforming your mind, body, and spirit with fitness professional and life coach Lisa Dwoskin. You can call in at any time, toll free, 1-800-889-0267 to speak with Lisa. Now let's get back to this week's show.
Yay, we're back. I just want to take a moment to thank one of my big sponsors at OG Gems. Her name is Teresa. She keeps sending me these beautiful bracelets that are healing beads and
you got a Buddha on there, don't you?
Yeah, Buddha. They're sterling silver. I have a peace sign. And I really can tell you, Freddie, when I put these bracelets on, I turn into Superwoman.
They're gorgeous. They go with what you're wearing.
I love them. These are amethyst stones. And let me just read what she wrote to me. The amethyst is a calming stone which provides calm, balance, peace, and patience. It enhances your intuition and your psychic powers, and you become Wonder Woman like me.
Maybe they can get me an amethyst Buddha.
Yeah, I'll look for
That'd
one.
be kind of cool.
What's your favorite color?
Amethyst.
Oh, the purple.
The purple.
But with what? Like just all purple?
All purple.
Oh, maybe I'll give you mine. I can't part
you
with
can't
it.
give me yours. I want a Buddha made of the amethyst stone. See
Oh,
if they do that.
okay, we'll ask her. Teresa,
We'll call
great
her up.
client of mine.
It's
I love
beautiful
her.
stuff.
So we're going to get back with Sue. I know you're holding. I'm coming right to you. Couple minutes. I can't wait to hear what you say about twin flames. So let's get back with Brian and Carrie. Are you guys on?
We are, of course.
Hey, you guys, I'm so sorry, but we're running out of time. I wish we had 2 hours, but Freddie is my producer, and we were talking at commercial break. We want to have you both on again for a whole hour, just educating people and transforming lives with me, if that would be good with the two of you.
Absolutely.
Absolute honor.
I think you two are great, but why don't you give out your information, Carrie, about the book that just came out, website, any information where people can find you?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So my book, I just released my book, People Pleasing Almost Killed Me, and it's an inside look at my own journey, to be honest with you, the journey towards self-love. Mm-hmm. And it's some of the layers of story that I had to strip away in order to find the freedom that I'm sitting in right now. So it's a complete detailed piece of me and my life. And it's available on Amazon.com. So you just have to go in and type in People Pleasing Almost Killed Me. You can get access to it there. Then with regards to Brian and myself, the best place to access us, to be honest with you, is Facebook. We live in a social media world. And that's where Brian and I, share our message and, deliver all of what we have to offer. So simply going to Facebook and typing in both of our names, you'll be able to access us. Our profiles are both open, so you can get access to everything.
Okay, perfect. And I want to thank you both so much, and definitely I want to have you both on again. So I really appreciate your input on everything. And we love your love story.
Thank you so much, Reverend Lisa. Greatly appreciate it.
Okay, I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Bye.
Right.
Okay, so that was great. They're great.
Well, it's like two paint colors coming together to form one. But the only thing is they have all this other stuff that works for them. Mm-hmm. Marketing, business, kids. I mean, they just interlock. It's very rare to find. Yeah. That kind of deepness. I looked at some of the stuff on Facebook that they put up, and it's a touching story, It's a
so
story.
touching.
It's good stuff.
But you know what it is? The universe brought them together, and the universe really, I believe, is providing everything for them. Although they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, they're marketing, they're helping people, but the universe brings people together. So the next guest I have on hold, her name is Sue Salgado. And let me tell you about the universe. This girl has a Instagram page that is amazing about twin flame lovers.
Which I'm curious to find out what that's all about.
Wait till you hear.
But you know, it's amazing. Her pictures look like a painting. Is this a painting?
Isn't she
picture?
beautiful?
Holy
Now,
mackerel.
when you look at that picture of her, she radiates love and light, and that's what the twin flame phenomenon is all about. She'll tell us about it, but before I bring her on, when I was writing my book on spiritual love, soulful love, which is done, and we're at the last round of edits, and it should be out in the next 6 months, I don't know the title yet, but as I was writing the book,
Right.
I came across Sue's Twin Flame Lovers Instagram page, and I started reading about it, and then I Googled about it, and I became like this mad woman who had to know everything
More mad?
about.
More mad.
Yeah.
More mad.
Very. I had to learn everything about twin flames.
Right.
And then now half of my book is about twin flames.
Pretty good.
Because it's something that was just the universe was bringing to me. It's really cool. So
Very
anyway, let's bring Sue. We called her the twin flame priestess, or priestess of the flame, right? Sue, are you there?
I'm here. Hey.
Hi, I'm sorry to have you holding for so long, but did you get to
Oh.
hear the show?
Yeah, I got to hear most of the show. It's been amazing. Beautiful story. Amazing.
It was so beautiful. So tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll talk about your definition of twin flames. Freddie's eager to learn about it here.
Yeah, basically, I found myself on this path a couple of years ago with my twin flame. I didn't realize at the time what a twin flame was until, I found myself in this relationship, and all of these, it was so outside the ordinary of anything I had ever experienced. And then I just, one night, I woke up in the middle of the night, and this word popped in my head, and I started researching it, and I was like, oh my goodness, like this is what is happening to me. And so for the last couple of years, I've been deeply involved in this relationship. So, we began the page, my beloved and I, Joshua, started the Twin Flame page about a year ago, and here I am.
Isn't it amazing how when you Google it or you find out about twin flames, then you go on kind of like a rampage, like you just want to learn everything and understand everything about it. So define twin flames. What is your definition?
My definition, well, there's a lot of levels and layers to twin flames. I think on the most basic level, a twin flame is really a word to describe a type of relationship that we're seeing explode right now in our society. But it just goes deeper. It goes deeper to, like Brian and Carrie were bringing up, about a journey into yourself, a journey into your soul, really, and ultimately your relationship to your source, your relationship to other people and to each other. And so this is really what sets this relationship apart. It starts off very magnetic and passionate, but very quickly it turns into a spiritual awakening at the deepest levels of the soul. And that's really one of the main components that sets this relationship apart, with the intensity of feelings and also the core issues that are brought up within this relationship, core issues of abandonment and any trauma that was suppressed or from childhood, from this life, or perhaps from another life, that will all come to the surface.
Yeah, I love how when we spoke on the phone the other day for about 90 minutes, and we could have talked for probably 5 hours, and then the next day probably 12. I wrote down what you said, because you said one of your definitions of twin flames is a path to oneself. Because when you find your twin, which is the other part of your soul that you're destined to be with, that person between the two of you brings up all this stuff that you've been suppressing that comes to light to find yourself through all this kind of baggage, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, and there's school of thoughts that say that your twin is the other half of your soul. I can't be for certain about that. I believe that we're inherently whole and complete, kind of like fraternal twins. You know, when they're born, they're whole. You know, and the mother's not any less whole, and so, but yet you share the same womb, you share, you know, childhood very intimately, and very similar with twins, but really it's the birth of your own soul and the birth of your own consciousness. This other extension of yourself has been with you, and so traveling through space and time, if you will, you know, and so like that entire idea of that eternal love of that you always come back to each other. I feel it has its roots in this deep awareness that the soul has of this companion, if you will, this divine companion that you've traveled with since before you can even remember.
Right.
And they become such an intimate part, an interpersonal part of your soul that it's at times hard to even tell yourselves apart, you know, and that's, you know, on the physical level, that shows up as the mirror effect.
Right.
You know, like
I got a question. How do you trust that what the other person brings to your soul? How do you give up on you know, abandon and just trust your instincts? How do you do that?
You know, that's and that's one of the things I'm working on right now as well. We both are, because we're been marrying to each other. That trust, and you know, it's like, well, you can mirror the euphoria, and then you can also mirror this abandonment and this trust. And ultimately, it's just a leap of faith. You just have to believe that this other person, this other being, it's with you, and even for those that experience one of the stages of twin flame, which is separation, they call it the runner. Ultimately, this is where it comes in. It's a journey to the self, because it's like I still trust, I still believe, you know, you surrender into it. So ultimately, whether you're with your partner or not, you know, it's about you trust. That's however long it takes you to get there. That's where you're going to go.
And it's all about another subject that you and I talked about related to your question is letting the divine in, having so much faith in a higher being, whatever it is you believe in, God, the universe, because once you let go and surrender to the universe and to the higher power, you're taking the control out from yourself and giving it to the universe. And then you do take the leap of faith and your inner voice, your intuition, and that leads to signs. Sue, you're going to laugh at this. I'm driving Freddie crazy all the time with 1111. I text him.
Look at this.
We got Connecticut over here, the board operator raising her hand. 1111 is a major sign about twin flames and synchronicities and serendipity, and that you're on the right path, or you're on the path to your twin flame. So, Sue, give some input on that 1111.
Oh, she loves
Yes.
Of course. Well, no, it's a twin flame phenomenon.
Okay.
It's twin flame 1111. Go ahead.
No, you know what? And there's a lot of truth to that. And that's one of the initial gentle ways the universe starts waking you up to, hey, look, there's something else going on here. You know, let me catch your attention. And you just start seeing it all the time. And eventually that turns into a tsunami of synchronicities coming into your life. But the 1111 is the initial one that kind of starts gently waking you up to, like, you need to start paying attention. Like, you know what I mean?
It's so true. I'm sorry, I just got to tell you something funny. I walked in to the studio today, and when Freddie opened the door for me, I had my cell phone to take pictures, and I said, look at the screensaver, because it shows like Facebook, Instagram, when you have your notifications. So there was 1 1 1 1 1 2 2 1. He's like, oh, here we go again.
Oh God, I love it. Yeah.
It was signs that this show will be great today.
You know, the amazing thing that I like Lisa, is that when you teach people exactly what Sue was talking about, you have to be aware
Right.
of what's going on. You have to be aware of yourself. That's
Yeah.
where it all begins. And then you start building on, and if you meet somebody and that person is that important, your flame,
Right.
and you build this confidence in yourself to trust yourself and your instincts.
Right.
Magical stuff can happen. I mean, the guest that you had on before, it took him 3 years.
Yeah.
But he came full circle to where he needed to be, and now they're happy together. And then the same thing with Sue. I think that what she's expressing here is that this can be done.
Let me tell you, when you read my book that comes out, the things that happen along my journey of finding spiritual love, it's mind-boggling. It really is amazing. It's you can't, normal people can't comprehend it. And when I say normal people, unawakened people.
That's right.
People that
Right.
aren't raising their level of conscious awareness, and that's what we're doing. And I really could tell you, Sue and I have talked one time for 90 minutes besides right now. I foresee she and I, with our seminars that we're going to do, it's going to be huge.
And you've never met Sue, right?
I've never met
Love
her.
it.
It's amazing.
The
people you
universe
meet.
brought us together.
Exactly.
It's
Yes,
That's your
I
one.
totally believe that.
Oh,
One more.
so Sue, back
Another
to
one.
you. We have about 8 more minutes, and we got to get
Okay.
into a
Got it.
very steamy subject here because
All right, here we go.
our listeners are going to love this, especially Connecticut back there operating our boards. Okay, let's talk about sexual intimacy and lovemaking amongst twin flame lovers.
Okay.
What is the difference between that and soulmates and just instant gratification sex, that kind of stuff?
Twin flame, from my experience, it's like, imagine two comets going in full speed ahead into each other, and they just crash in each other. And that's like the initial bedroom explosion. It's so raw and so passionate, and it's almost like you just want to rip your skin off because you cannot get close enough with this other person. And that's because it's still, and that awakening and that, like, it's the coming home, it's just like, and it's just like, so, but as, as within any relationship, that also continues to evolve and to grow, but the level of love, the deep, deep love that you experience sexually, it's not only that, it's passionate and energetic and sometimes even multidimensional. I've had experiences where I'm seeing my beloved with different faces changing, and it's almost as if those are all the other times I've seen him in my incarnation here on this planet. So and again it goes back to surrendering. That's what this path is really about. The more you can surrender in the bedroom and let go, the more that the energy will flow through and your heart will blast open. And
now the physicalness of the lovemaking is explosive, but the spiritualness and the deep intimacy emotionally and spiritually, mindfully, that you feel is just on such a different level than just pure sexual experience. It's like it just kind of takes you to a different realm of being, right?
Absolutely, yeah. It's usually within a soulmate relationship, a love will slowly build up, and as well as with the sexual aspect, and they both can be very, very passionate. It just seems like with the twin flame, it's right there immediately. And it's profound love right off the bat, and unconditional, and it's so magnetic. It truly feels like you want to merge. And in the bedroom, sexually, I think that's what kind of motivates and even instigates the relationship even further, because you're like, there's so much that has come down, so many walls come down. Because when you're in the bedroom, you let go, right? And so that's really where you can see each other even more clearly of your connection. But then when you step away from the bedroom and you got to go, live your day-to-day life, and you start realizing, wait, there's there are some issues here, and they're really deep rooted.
Right.
And so it kind of goes back and forth. But
I love what you what you said earlier about coming home, because when you find your twin flame, and I've read this in so much of the journals and blogs from people, you feel like you've come home to a familiar situation that you have felt before, whether it be this lifetime or another past lifetime. And that's just such a beautiful thing, like a soul, spiritual, deep connection.
Yeah, yes. And that was one of the first initial synchronicities after the, seeing the 11:11 for about a year on end. It was this sense of, like, okay, I know you from, like, I know you from sort of, no, I know you for a long time, just deep inner knowing. And whenever we would be together, it just you look into their eyes, and it's just this such deep sense of peace, and you just want to merge into it, It's just like, so it's like going on this long journey, and then you come home, and you're like, I can just relax and kick my feet up. And that's how it feels whenever you start recognizing who your twin is.
Right. We have about 3 minutes left, so I want to give out your email is priestessoftheflame at gmail.com.
Priestess?
Priestessoftheflame@gmail.com. She and I came up with that together.
Well, she's dressed like a priestess.
We did, yes.
She's like a goddess.
Like a goddess.
She's the priestess and I'm the goddess.
Hey, somebody.
And if you want to reach me, Lisa, you can reach me at 571-354-7215 if you need a life coach or want to find out more information. And Sue, you have about 2 minutes, so just why don't you end it with talking a little bit about divine union and ego versus spirit, just for people that are searching how they can find their twin flame. Go for it. Give them some advice.
I guess the most solid piece of advice I could leave your audience with is that the more that you do surrender your life to a higher power, and not even have to wait on the 11:11 signs or your twin flame that come in, the more you surrender and trust to the universe that you are in perfect alignment. Your life, the timing of your life is exactly as it should be. All the choices you've ever made, mistakes or whatnot, everything was exactly as it was meant to be. And wherever you are in this moment is where you're supposed to be. And the more you can move deeper into that trust and surrendering, and that's when you start surrendering your ego, because your ego is always telling you, this is how it should be. No, you should have done this. No, it's like, no, I trust this is my life.
So we gotta cut
trust in God.
Trust in God.
Trust in God.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you so much. What happened?
Right,
we gotta go.
Okay, we gotta go. Too fast.
God,
You're coming back for sure. You're gonna be my twin flame priestess every week, every other week maybe.
All right, say
Bye.
goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in today and starting your very own journey through transformation. Don't wait to get the perfect weight, the perfect mate, or the perfect job to become happy. Be happy today. Lisa will continue to help guide you weekly to become more mindful and to live in the now. Feed your body healthy and nutritious foods. Get your body moving. And feed your mind with positive affirmations. With a positive mind, your body will react accordingly. Be here next Sunday or visit her website at any time at lisadwaskin.com. Till then, remember, believe and you will achieve greatness.